That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and are behind on your monthly payments, you need to make this free call right now. 800-428-4187. When you call the Stop Debt Hotline, you're taking the first steps for help. Debt specialists are part of a real team who will help you with all of your options. You could stop the collection calls and letters forever by calling the completely confidential toll-free number right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can handle your debt forever. Imagine no more late nights and no more debt. Don't try to face your creditors alone. Call the Stop Debt Hotline right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. Get free information now by calling the Stop Debt Hotline. 800-428-4187. Non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Debt Resolution Helpline. 102 Northeast 2nd Street, number 183, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
Hey, Chad here from the Sports Drive. Well, it's the offseason, so it's time to get the players ready, geared up for football, and motivate them.
We've got to be the dumbest team in America in terms of playing the game. We give games away. We give them away, period.
We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. I just hope we can win a game.
Watching 48 more hours of videotape, gain another 10 pounds. That's how you get ready for Sunday, okay?
Or that. Join us for some off-season fun right here on the Sports Drive, 5 to 7 on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golick and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Those up the middle. And intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 29. He's getting Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Neville Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell. The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
the goal, breaking the coverage tackle to the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball has had a big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I am Chad Berliante. Glad to be with you here on this Thursday evening. A lot to get to on today's show. Well, you got the Bethpage Black right there from New York. And Brooks Koepka, ice water in his veins. The favorite with Tiger Woods. 63. How about that? This guy does not, he's going to be an opportunity to just go all the way, have an opportunity to continue to win so many big events because he's the kind of golfer that doesn't care in the big moment. And he's only going to get better. And looking forward to watching this one over the weekend as already starting off with a bang. Shot a 63 on his way to a great round today at the PGA Championship, a course record. Brooks Koepka from Florida State. Oh, right there. Now Jordan all of a sudden, he was all smiles, and then he saw that, and he's like, I want nothing to do with this show right here. Jordan Glass joining us right here, who has Luke Combs stuck in his head. What's happening, Jordan, my friend?
I will mute your microphone if you ever do that again.
You can. That's fine. Go ahead. I'll go downstairs and enjoy watching Brooks Koepka shoot.
That's right.
Yeah, right there at a 60. Man, what an incredible round. And this he's the real deal when it comes to showing up in the big moment and getting it done. Because, you look at a lot of golfers, and some of them have been good enough to win when it counts in a John Deere or a Byron Nelson Classic. But to go out there and shoot a 63, every time this guy looks like he's close to the leaderboard, it's over. And that's one thing that was pretty shocking when we were watching the Masters, because he was right there. He was actually in the lead for about, I think, most of the final round. But Tiger Woods came through. Today, probably not as much, as Tiger had a couple tough holes. When you look at Tiger Woods, he's the kind of guy that we're all going to be following. We're all going to take a look at here. And Tiger Woods had 2 double bogeys on the front 9. The difference, though, is when you look at Tiger Woods overall and what he's going to do, he's still within the mix because he came back with 6 birdies. So, Jordan, at this point, we just want him to be close to the lead.
Right, yeah.
To have a shot.
Yeah. Just close. And it's like I said yesterday, he doesn't have to win it. Just be in the conversation. Late Saturday, early Sunday. Just be a part of the conversation. I'm happy with that performance from Tiger Woods. He won the Masters. He doesn't need to win this in order to impress me. Just be in the conversation.
Tiger Woods is sitting at 2 over par, 72 today. The leader is Brooks Koepka at 63. He is 7 under par. Remember, it's a par 70 course. For the people doing math out there. And right now, a couple of the guys close to the leaderboard. Danny Lee, everybody's favorite guy from Australia that we have never heard of. Tommy Fleetwood, not Fleetwood Mac, but he's pretty solid right there at 67. And Mike Lorenzo Vera. This is probably the most random top 10 I've ever seen in my life. I'm just looking at it for the first time right here. I was following Tiger. We were following Bubba. We were following some of those guys up at the front. But this is the most random. And my brother is acting too cool for us. He's at the right there at Beth. He's at the event right now. So he's not going to join us on the show. He's got more important things to do than join us here in Pensacola. But I'm looking right now at some of the guys on the leaderboard. Bubba Watson, by the way, shot 6 over. So probably Bubba's going to be coming back home a little bit sooner than later on this one. But looking right now, after Brooks Koepka, Danny Lee, Tommy Fleetwood's a decent golfer. He's pretty solid. Mike Lorenzo Vera. This starts to sound like actors in Highland. Chez Reavie, Luke List, Sung Kang, Siwoo Kim is the next to round it out right there. Ricky Fowler, there we go, and then Matt Wallace. So It is not the type of leaderboard you would expect in a Masters or a major event right there with the PGA Championship. This is a little bit different. Then it starts to shake out, and you got Pat Perez, Phil Mickelson, Matt Kuchar, Dustin Johnson. Then it starts to even out. It starts to get the names that you know from the world of golf. But, Jordan, right now, this is not as Luke List. You like the shake-up right here?
I like it, yeah. It's like
I know you're a huge Siwoo Kim fan.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely, yeah. No, I like it. It's like having the Goonies up at the top of the list, you know? It's just random people you don't know just hanging out there, getting there a little 15 minutes because, let's face it, come Saturday or Sunday, those guys that we know, those Dustin Johnsons, those guys are going to overtake them and move up the board. So it's nice to see them get their recognition right now.
You think some of those golfers should have a chance to get their own jersey, by the way? Like have their own, like a Siwoo Kim jersey right there with you know
Bubba may be able to hook them up with a Blue Wahoo's jersey with that on the back. It could happen.
By the way, not the best look right now for a league that we all know something's happening. Will Greer protein shakes, but Arizona Cardinals cornerback Patrick Peterson has been suspended for the first 6 games of the 2019 season. And this is pretty big news because it's not just about Patrick Peterson at this point. It's about opening up a can. The last guy that really did that was Sean Merriman. Right. I mean, he was the kind of guy that he was having an incredible, electric career, and all of a sudden, everybody's like, look at this cheat, and you knew he was big. But so, look, Ryan Shazier, I hope for him to be able to walk after what happened is incredible, for him to go on that stage. But he used to practice before the game. And I'm not one of these like, honey, come in here, look at, he's got his shirt off. None of this crap. What I'm talking about is, he would practice we're talking about practice, right there in Pittsburgh with his shirt off in like 5-degree weather. Yep. And he's sitting there, and this guy looks like he's about to like beat his chest and go, and like come out of one of those Incredible Hulk movies. No chance that that's just all about the all-natural.
No,
the old creatine diet that we did back in high school.
Yeah.
None of it. But the difference is the NFL is looking the other way for PDs. And why not? I don't blame anyone. I would just be like, if some guy came to me like, I have a test right here. Here is the list. Mr. Goodell, we're sitting in this room, and let's say we're in the penthouse suite of New York City. All right. Mr. Goodell, I have a list of over 270 guys that I've done some research on. We've done their blood work, and all have tests positive for things off of your list.
Whoever makes me the least amount of money, final.
Nope. The next thing at that point out of that guy's mouth to me would be, psst, take this guy behind the lake. Because you don't want any. This is a $3 billion business, and that might sound more like a show on HBO or Showtime right there. But I don't think I don't think Goodell's making hits right now. But at the same time, you never know with Roger Gingerhammer himself. But at the same time, it gets to a point where you don't want these stories because one story lingers on to the rest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter if you have a wife or you have a girlfriend and you cheat once or you cheat 75 times. You're Tiger Woods, or you're that guy that it was a book club and you had a couple too many wines.
Right.
You're still in the same category. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, there's Jordan again, and that guy. No, for the ladies out there, this is just. Let's use Jimbo. Oh my God, there's Jimbo right there. There's Taylor Jacobs. No, and you look at that and you say, you know what? It's just one of those kind of things where once you do it once, you're done. At that point, it does not matter. You're not coming back from that point. So same thing with here. Patrick Peterson is opening up the door for the next 4.5 months before the NFL to say, whew, well, if he's getting suspended, let's start to look at some other guys out there doing it, because they are all doing it. And deer antler spray, just because they can't test for it, Ray Lewis, and whatever, when you know there is something that everybody across the board is doing from a standpoint of getting better, because that's your job, is being physically more inferior to your opponent, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fault Patrick Peterson. I don't think less of him, just like Rodney Harrison, just like some of these other guys. And frankly, it's one of those kind of things where it stinks for Patrick. It's going to stink for his contract. But this, to me, does not make him less of an athlete. Doesn't make him somebody that I've watched from LSU back in the day, go Tigers, to the days of Arizona, as one of the best corners.
Yeah, and here's my thing with it. I think you look at the leagues, and they're doing things that are changing the games to make it more competitive, moving the ball back for an extra point, juicing the ball in baseball, making it go a little further. That makes the game more competitive. It makes the game more intriguing. These athletes taking these products, that's all they're doing. They're making themselves more competitive and making themselves more intriguing to watch. I think that if the leagues are going to be okay with juicing up the game and doing things to change the game, they should be okay with players doing things like this. Now, is it the healthiest thing to do in the world? No. There's been tests and studies that prove that it has negative effects on your body. But at the same time, like you said, these athletes, part of their job is to go out there and be inferior than the other person that's lining up across from them. And Patrick Peterson's going to go up against some top receivers this year. He's playing for Arizona, so he doesn't have much help back there in the secondary. I can't blame him one bit for wanting to do this.
Yeah, I'm looking at this more as a speeding ticket. You get off work today, guy today driving by in Gulf Breeze right there. Clearly, the light was flashing for school zone, 20 miles per hour. Just coasting at 40. Now, 40 and a 35 is fine. He's not doing anything, just being a natural driver right there. Probably actually going slower than most, but didn't see the sign. And everybody else going 20, he just got pulled over. Pay the piper, bro. That's the thing is, it's the same thing with Patrick Peterson. Pay the piper. I'm not looking down on you as a complete cheat of the NFL. I'm not going to sit here and act like you're not a great player.
Right.
But it is something that the NFL doesn't want to open up the doors. Many people, when there was about 6 or 7 guys, including Kevin Williams, one of the big defensive tackles from Minnesota, that tested positive. And the NFL, there was a report done, and I actually read this. This was back 6 years ago. And a couple guys came out and said, we really need to be a stickler. We really need to test, and we need to do everything we can to go out there and make it where we make sure this game is clean. And I started to laugh, and I said, really? Seriously? You know, it'd be like the same guy giving you complete bullcrap on speed limits and being like, sir, ma'am, everybody, the speed limit says 45. Everybody, do no more than 46 or you're a villain. And everybody driving's like, come on, dude. Like, come on, I'm turning lanes at 47. Yeah. But here's the difference is you understand it's happening, and it's a rule, but the NFL, a lot of these guys are doing it. To what point? I don't know. And to some positions, it means more. Meaning, if you're a defensive nose guard, if you're a guy in the middle, which is the Gilbert Browns, the Grady Jacksons, the Sam Adams of the world, I'm not talking about the classic drink, but right there in Baltimore, the Syracusas, that is your job. Your job is to push forward, win in the trenches.
Right.
If you're a guy like Patrick Peterson, most of your job is about finesse, skill, learning to run routes with the wide receiver, being able to know a bunch of game plans, visualizing what the offense is like, doing your research. Whether or not you blow up some guy over the middle is about 7 or 8 on the list for a cornerback or safety compared to some of the other jobs. If you're in the trenches, if you're on the offensive line or on the defensive line and you're taking roids, then yes, when you get tested, I'm going to come out here and say, you, sir, probably are great or made a Pro Bowl because you're on roids. Not Patrick Peterson. Not as much. And I'm not saying that we need to look at this across the board and say it changes the game. But the NFL does not want to open up this door because all it did for baseball is have a bunch of people watch Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. And I'm not saying this because I like the guys. One guy misremembers, and the other guy's a complete jerk. And I'm not stupid. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens both did something. Quote, protein shakes. A lot of protein in there. Maybe some needles. Whatever it was in there, though, here's the difference. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens never miss one single pitch in their careers.
Yeah.
Not one play. So that's not fair if you're judging based on as many people. Look, we live in the South, and what is one thing we judge by? Sticklers to the rules. If you're right wing, one of the big things that you talk about, no matter what, is not the, hey, bro, we'll find a job. It's all about, you know what? I don't smoke weed because it's illegal. I don't do this because it's illegal. I don't do this because it's illegal. And you keep saying that, but the same people will get on sports and say, Barry Bonds is a cheat. Hank Aaron, love Hank Aaron, go Braves. You might be right, but if you're going to go by the bylaws and the rules, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and many people during that time never miss one play. If you want to look to the El Scumbago, it would be Bud Selig. it would be Major League Baseball for knowing these guys were growing the size of a Woody Woodpecker float during the Macy's Day Parade. But the difference was you weren't going to test them because you knew the game was making revenue. How many times they'd be like, all right, we've got a match going on here in France between some two ladies, I don't know their names, in tennis. All right, it's, we're going to break in McGuire at the plate. Crush one against the wall, and everybody go, Big Mac attack. They had the McDonald's thing going on right there. Crush it off the wall right there in Busch Stadium, and everybody go crazy. Sosa, McGuire, Bonds, they would break into commercials to show them. So they would interrupt programming that cost millions to go ahead and show them, and then they're like, when they got caught, oh my gosh, look at these cheats. Oh my goodness. What? McGuire's arms are big? What? I have his rookie card. He looks skinny there. Come on, idiots. The thing is, you enjoyed feasting off and reaping the benefits, but the second it came to when everybody was after you, it's like one of those gangster movies where they start offing people in a pink Cadillac. All of a sudden, hey, we're about to go down. Nobody's going to rat on me. Pop, 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 pop. And Joe Pesci finds himself in a garage. You never know when it comes down to this. That's what happened in baseball is it got to that point. And now everybody uses the broad term, baseball, everybody's rolling anyway. It doesn't matter. Football doesn't want to go down that path. Football right now just got done with the protests. Patrick Peterson might have tested positive. But because of that, this is what I say about this. And this is my final point on this. Patrick Peterson, what the blank? Because these guys know, and I know from people within the NFL, these guys know when they're about to be tested because the NFL right now doesn't want to go down that path of randomly throwing people under the bus. And you pretty much said, I'm better than you. I'm going to go out there and do something. And you know what? I'm bigger and badder than you. And he's not. And if you're going to do that, then you're going to get in trouble. So if he did something and got caught positive in the NFL today, it's because he said, I'm bigger than the system. Because the guys know around that time frame, and if you're lighting one up with Cheech and Chong, guess what? You probably want to take 20, 30 days to not if you know you're about to go to summer camp. Just saying. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about some of the games going on. Blue Wahoos tonight, 6:35. We'll get to more on that. Tiger Woods, after a tough first round at +2, looking to try to rebound with Brooks Koepka, Florida State's own, shooting a 63 and a course record. We're all coming back right here on the Sports Drive.
This summer, take the road trip to complete your baseball stadium bucket list.
And when you do, stay at La Quinta by Wyndham Hotels,
where you can now earn and redeem Wyndham Rewards points at La Quinta and thousands of other Wyndham Rewards properties worldwide.
Plus, free bright side breakfast and the free high-speed Wi-Fi so you can stay in the work zone while you're away.
Well, with perks like these, you're gone!
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you triumph.
Book direct at LQ.com.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Florida, with its sunny weather and beautiful beaches, is a great place to walk and bike. Alert Today Florida encourages you to think beyond the driver's seat. Consider making a trip or two per week on foot or by bike. Active transportation like walking and biking can improve your health, reduce stress, and give you a few minutes to enjoy the sunshine. And here are a few tips to help you walk and bike safely. Remember, when walking, cross in the crosswalk and obey the pedestrian signals. And when riding, obey traffic laws and always ride in the direction of traffic because safety doesn't happen by accident.
This summer, take the road trip to complete your baseball stadium bucket list.
And when you do, stay at La Quinta by Wyndham Hotels,
where you can now earn and redeem Wyndham Rewards points at La Quinta and thousands of other Wyndham Rewards properties worldwide.
Plus, free bright side breakfast and the free high-speed Wi-Fi so you can stay in the work zone while you're away.
Well, with perks like these, you're gone!
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you triumph.
Book direct at LQ.com.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
When Jamie Stevens got out of the Navy in 1968, he opened J&D Cleaners. With his commitment to quality cleaning at fair prices, the business grew to become the best dry cleaners in Santa Rosa County. Jimmy's son, Corey, owns J&D Cleaners now, and he shares the family commitment to excellence. J&D Cleaners has discounts for military uniforms, on-site alterations, and a convenient drive-through window at the Milton location. Trust your clothes to J&D Cleaners on Stewart Street, just north of 90 in Milton, and on Woodbine Road, just south of 5 Points and Pace. It's J&D Cleaners.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5, Blab TV. I am Chad Berliante. Glad to be with you here on this Thursday evening. A lot to get to on today's show. Coming up at 6:35, we'll send it to Chris Garagiola and the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, as we say in Italian. Chris Garagiola right there, having some fun. And Jordan, it's going to be pretty exciting to this will be a perfect night to get down to the Wahoo Stadium,
It is. It's going to be a really good night. And after a 10-game road trip, I know a lot of the diehard Blue Wahoo fans are waiting for this. Mobile coming to town. It's the Battle of the Bay Series. It's one of the last few that we're going to see because obviously Mobile not going to be playing next year. So go down to the ballpark and support them. And hey, it's going to be a fun series.
It should be a lot of fun. And looking forward to the Mobile Bay Bears. Look, a lot of things going on in Mobile. Not too much minor league baseball. At Hank Aaron Stadium, they got the name Hammering Hank. Look, Hank Aaron has been somebody that a lot of people still look at as the home run king, and that's up to you guys. I mean,
it's sort of up on the show a lot.
Yeah,
today.
I mean, it's alluding to the conversation we've been having, and I just, when I say these things, I want people to understand my job in not only sports but also when it comes to giving you what I believe, Skip Bayless. When it comes down to it, I want to tell you what I really truly believe in sports. And the thing is, baseball, I'm not judging you as a jerk, because if that case, Ty Cobb took his cleat off and tried to stab some guy, and he's in the Hall of Fame as one of the best baseball players. Oh, but it was 1900, please. The Indians and people were throwing spears. No, that's not the point. He was a guy that drank whiskey in the dugout and would try to stab some guy with his cleat. Yep. Imagine that story. Be like, well, the Tigers today, it was a 3-2 victory. Great victory over the Oakland A's. Miguel Cabrera took off his cleat and stabbed the pitcher in the neck after it. People would pause, and all of a sudden this guy's in jail. Ty Cobb tried to do that, but Ty Cobb, bro, 345, you have another shot. The difference is, it was the 1900s, so it was a lot different. Shoeless Joe Jackson might have had shoes. You do that today, you're going to be mocked, and people will get social media videos.
This is the guy in Ty Cobb that went through that. As you said, he would hit the ball drunk. Somebody asked him, how do you know which one to hit? I just hit the one in the middle.
Jeffrey D jokes, but he says the Big Bambino, and look, the Sultan of SWAT, and as a Red Sox fan, I enjoy saying this, but he said he's a fat drunk that smokes cigars. That's what he did. I mean,
accurate.
You think about it today, and if you put him out there, think about Aaron Judge. 6'8", 280 pounds.
I'll let Jack Daniels put his hand in the dugout.
Yeah, imagine that.
Just let me know when it's my turn.
Look, what I'm trying to say here, though, is our job is to look at every situation. And let's not look at Patrick Peterson and go, oh, my goodness, he's cheating in a sport where this just randomly popped up. Probably the other three cornerbacks in his system are on it, too, but he got caught with something. He did something wrong.
Right.
And I think it's funny they test for things like Adderall and they test for things, all this other stuff that people take on a regular basis to go to school and things. But all of a sudden, you go ahead and take something to get yourself a little more than a protein shake.
And that's a good point, because also on their banned PED list for the NFL, there's some stuff that's antihistamines that we take as antihistamines for, colds or allergic reactions or stuff like that are on the banned list. So it could have even been something like that he was taking that popped up. They see that, they go, oh, well, you took that, it's on the banned list, you're suspended.
Remember the one with Ray Lewis? That was my favorite. Ray Lewis, look, I don't care. He literally stabbed some guy at a club and had somebody else say he didn't, which is fine. And Ray, if you're listening, you didn't. So don't come after me. But Ray, the thing is, as a football player, it's nasty, tenacious. Remember, these defensive guys, don't think for 2 seconds the correlation between a Lawrence Taylor and a Ray Lewis and some of these guys that get in trouble off the field. Doesn't have to do with when you're a nasty football player, you get celebrated and cheered for blowing some guy up over the middle. Like, your job is, okay, if you broke it down to layman's terms and just been like, okay, here's your job. You can break through that 350-pound guy, big nasty guy up front, do whatever you need to do, poke him in the eye, and then crush the other guy. Break. Like, that's your job, is to physically hurt a quarterback that might have 3 or 4 kids and a wife, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. That's your job. So when you get off the field, it's a little bit different for some of these guys on defense. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, different job. But a lot of times you see that. And it's no shock. I hope I'm not giving a life lesson here when you see the domestic abuse policies and the things going on. Reuben Foster, Greg Hardy, things like that. It's usually a defensive lineman or it is a linebacker. It is. It truly is.
No, you're absolutely right.
And that's what I'm saying. I hope I'm not shocking the world by this news. But a lot of times it's a defensive end or a linebacker that ends up being that guy, because their job for 20 years of their whatever they started back in high school all the way until they were told this is what you need to do is to crush the quarterback. Crush that. That's your single job, is to crush that guy as hard as you can. And then sometimes they can't turn it off. And it's not that easy. When you look right now at Patrick Peterson, he made a choice and a mistake, and he's going to pay. I'm not respecting what he did. But people need to understand that it's not just Patrick Peterson. It's happening all around us. Baseball, it's happening all around us. And I want to put it just like speeding tickets. Everywhere listening right now, getting off work, and I just left 110, so I can tell you little stories, a couple of them right there. Guy going to Mobile decided, hey, look, if I'm not going 110, I can't get home tonight right there in a car that I don't even think hit 110 in a Geo. But the thing is, you look at a lot of these guys, and they realize if they get caught, if you're going 60 to 45, which many of us have done in a good pickup truck or a SUV, you might not be bothering anybody over by Gulf Breeze, right there by the National Shore. But if you're not going under 50, man, you're going to get bumper, and the speed limit is 45. The difference is when you're out there, you realize if somebody did pull you over, you'd be like, oh, come on, dude. Everybody else on the road is doing it. Come on. And they said, sir, speed limit is 45. What are you doing? Come on. Sir, what were you doing? 62, whatever. All right, well, here's your ticket. And you just go, well, crap, he's right. And that's this is what we're dealing with in the NFL. When you see a Patrick Peterson story, it doesn't mean that the NFL is corrupt. It doesn't mean that everybody's corrupt. It just means that we're looking the other way towards what they're doing, and we want the best physicality. We want the best players. We want those nasty guys inside. Like when Alan Bailey, and Google this guy if you haven't. Don't Google the thing I said yesterday when I was talking about the basketball player named Silent Stroker. That will get you arrested. But when it comes down to Alan Bailey, this guy is a freak for Kansas City. Just look at this guy. And then you come back to me and say, this guy is not on something, but he has played for the last 4 years. From Miami, good player. But you watch this guy, and he intercepted a ball. He spiked a ball. I think the ball blew up when he did that. And this guy has been in the NFL, and nobody has said a word. I'm going to show the people in the studio just a little of what he looks like in his arms. And this guy is all natural.
I think that's just
all
straight
natural.
chicken and brown rice, man.
That's
I think
right.
that's just there's no steroids.
No, that's just protein. It's protein right there. But this guy is one, and that's not even doing this guy justice from what we saw. It is to the point where you know that they're on something. The difference is whether or not the NFL wants to crack down. And really, the judge, the juror, and the executioner is always going to be Roger Goodell. And looking at it. Right now, taking a look at some of the other things going on. The Pensacola Blue Wahoos in action tonight against the Mobile Bay Bears. We talked a little bit about it, but it was great to see Miguel Sano.
It was.
It was good to see some of those guys come through. And we're still going to be taking some time. Joining us coming up here on the program will be John Steele from the Retirement Planners. You probably kicked your feet up on his third base dugout right there, as he has the nice sign right there. And he'll be joining us to talk a little bit of the financial situations going on in sports, and always kind enough to join us here on the week. When you look right now, though, at a lot of the guys that are dealing with a situation when it comes to trying to make that next jump, risk versus reward is something key. Mm-hmm. It's something big. And when it comes to sports, a lot of these athletes, and Patrick Peterson was already one of the best for LSU. So I think he's not the kind of guy that is the epitome of this situation.
Right.
But when you talk about Patrick Peterson, there are so many guys that are trying to add a couple pounds, a couple extra. I'm not. There's no gun show. I shouldn't be. I was trying to show something here. There's nothing to show. No gun show. None of that. But these guys, if you get a little bit, if you're that much bigger, whether it's baseball, football, soccer for flopping, whatever you're doing, basketball, you have a chance to go from being really good, because to get to that level, you've got to be excellent. You can't be somebody that's a crust. And I say that in a funny way, but you cannot be a crusty kind of player if you're going to get all the way to the NFL, if you're going to get that. But if you want to get 1.5, or you want to get $50,000, have a practice league contract, and then be out of the league in a couple years, or you want to be that star defensive tackle, you come in there and you wallop people around for a couple years. Then you test positive, and guess what? Guess what happens to Sean Merriman? Guess what happened to Kevin Williams? Guess what happened to these athletes that came out of nowhere and became nasty players and then tested positive?
Everything they worked for went away.
And John Steele from the Retirement Planners is going to have fun with this one, because guess what? They got a lot of money in their bank account. They got to go talk to somebody about their portfolio, and nobody's taking it away, even if the public media wants to say, his arms got very big. That's one thing that's never happened to one guy on any type of drug, steroid, anything. Nobody has said, we've suspended him 100 games, and everything he's made over his last 9 years, batting .300 with 45 home runs and 100 RBIs, is being taken out of his account. We're going right now. Yep. Got 2 people going to Bank of America as we speak right now to take every dollar out of his account. Right now, it's sucking out. Let's take a look here. It is the reverse of one of these drives to help charity. Look at that. $1 out of his account right now. All right, let's go. Another 100,000. All right, do you want to bid more? Like, none of that happens. These guys get paid. Nelson Cruz, Miguel Tejada. Miguel Tejada roasted the system for millions.
Yeah.
And that is the difference between a contract in baseball or not. So risk versus reward when it comes to sports, I completely get why they're doing it. But for Patrick Peterson, the situation that's going on right now, people need to realize that this is not the end-all, be-all. And people are doing it, but we just got to realize in sports today that athletes are doing it. And when they get caught, just look at it as, sucks for him. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about some of the day games in Major League Baseball. We'll get to some of the stories, including the PGA Championship from one of the most beautiful courses right there in New York, Bethpage Black. And we'll also talk more about, well, not a joke, other bad ideas and classes you should not take when it comes to school. It's all coming back right here in the Sports Drive.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to talk football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a unique program that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. The Warriors to Work program also works with companies to find the right job for the right warrior. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Ted here, dialing in from Denver.
Kenzie and the Chicago team dialing in.
Okay, let's get started.
Ted's in charge of this project. He's a total goober. And what's with the haircut?
Guys, can definitely hear you. Like, really good reception.
Conference calls no-brainer, the mute button. Barbasol's no-brainer, finally making razors to go along with America's favorite shaving cream. Try Barbasol's Ultra 6 Plus razor with 6 ultra-thin blades for a close, comfortable shave.
Barbasol. Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly dilly!
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 Blab TV. I am Chad Berliante. Glad to be with you here as we broadcast on this Thursday evening. Pat Dye could not join us today, not because he's out there hanging out on his farm on a horse, but he is receiving an award right there in Alabama for a coach for his hospitality and also service to the community right there. In the Plains from Huntsville, Alabama. So congratulations to Coach Pat Dye, kind enough to join us each and every Thursday. But today, joining an award, and I'll tell you what, when it comes to Coach Pat Dye, he's one of those kind of guys that he sort of represents people from the South in a good way. Let me explain. He's the kind of guy that will sit on his porch, rocking with the sweet tea after doing about 8 to 9 hours worth of work. But the difference is, he's also the kind of guy that if you need to be there or you need to show up for a certain thing, he's going to be on time. He's going to help you out. He's going to put in the extra time. Even if he made $1 million, a bunch of millions, back in his day as an Auburn head coach. And I remember when he was down here for the Chamber of Commerce right there in Pensacola. And you had the mayor, Ashton Hayward. You had Fred Levin. You had Collier Merrill. So many great people that were sitting there. Big, when it comes to names within the community that have done a lot. And he called his publicist. I was actually at an event and dressed sort of like today, like a fishing shirt with a jacket I shouldn't be wearing because it's hot. And all of a sudden he called and he goes, "Where's that Chad guy from the ESPN?" This is like 4 years ago. came pulling up in jeans and all these people are in suit and tie. and they're looking, and Clay Ingram, who's one of our friends and great guy, and Clay was like, Chad, he's right up here, right up in front. Shook his hand. We talked for a few minutes, and they're all just staring me down. And I said, you know what? One of the big reasons is Pat is he just wants to just be a person, just have fun, sit back as we do with this show. And that's one of the things that no matter who it is, whether it's Pat Dye, Gene Stallings yesterday, whether it's my grandmother, my mom flies into town tomorrow, my 3-year-old daughter, it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk the same to everybody. Just be a person. So many people in this business, when it comes to sports radio, they want to ask you a question. Mr. Dye, Auburn has 4 quarterbacks. They're very good. They have 3 wide receivers. They have 2 running backs. They have guys in tight end. Do you think we can replace the 9 seniors we lost last year? And then all of a sudden he's like, what? I don't know the roster this year. I'm just got done putting a maple in, and all of a sudden you're just like, all right, we lost them. We lost them completely. Like, just have fun with the people, enjoy your time, and Pat has done that. And that's one of the big reasons for 5 years straight, every Wednesday and every Thursday, Gene Stallings and Pat Dye have joined us at the same exact time. And when they actually text us today, Pat texted me today, I can't make it. I'm about to walk on stage. It's pretty funny, because we've missed probably 2 or 3 times over the last 5 years that he can't make it. But you know what? He's got a big award ceremony today. Congratulations, Pat Dye. And we'll talk with him later next week and always have some fun. And you never know what you're going to get when it comes to Pat Dye. Joining us now to have a little fun, we're going to talk to John Steele coming up here, retirement planners. Always great to catch up with John. He can help you more than I can, just talking about sports, but somebody that can get you in the right path for financial success and is going to give you the real advice and not look at his watch and say, I've got another commodity coming in. Joining us now, somebody that also knows a lot about numbers. He's been a banker for so many when it comes to numbers. He is the guy that comes back with stats and actual analytics, which I just make things up. Our good friend Jeffrey D joins us. Jeff, what's happening, my friend?
It's great to be here, Chad. You're mentioning Pat Dye, and of course Pat's been around for a long time, and we've been able to interview him for the last 5 years. But there was a 10-year period there where he just kind of dominated the Southeastern Conference, and back then there was just 10 schools in the conference, and so you mentioned that he got that award from Mr. Hospitality, but I don't think any of those 9 teams that got beaten by Pat Dye's Auburn teams would have given him that award.
No, I don't think so. But looking right now, one of the things I want to talk about is what's going on right now with Florida, and I'm not saying it's going to be these are the type of times, Jeff, as a Florida Gator alumni, somebody that hosted a Florida Gator show, these are the type of times where we would talk about this. But what do you think about Florida and their opportunities to try to calm the waters of what's going on right now with the whole Jalen and what's been happening behind the scenes?
Well, about a year ago, the Gators were thinking we weren't going to have a good recruiting class, and woe is me. And that's the sign of the times now. We're all reactive to these guys won't sign for 21 months. Florida lost 3 commitments in the 2021 class. Guys that would be true freshmen in 21. That can change. Those guys will flip and flop 3 or 4 times between now and then. So there's really not it's really not an answer to that, but time will kind of wash it out.
When you look right now at what we saw today with Patrick Peterson, you watch this guy when he played for LSU. He's been one of the best cornerbacks. He's the kind of guy that can literally change a game with a few plays. He's been that way. He's been consistent. I remember watching him in college when I married Brittany as an LSU girl, and she took me to an LSU game after I took her to UCF. I took her to UCF versus USF, and I was like, hey, look at this, and all of a sudden she's like looking around. There's like 30,000 people. People are jumping around. The place is shaking. We try to say it's a trampoline effect.
Tailgate.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The truth of the matter is it's somebody that didn't do their job on the infrastructure of the building, and the place hops because the concrete shouldn't be jumping like a trampoline. So we trampoline. It's some guy got fired for his job, but we were there, and then all of a sudden she took me to Tiger Stadium, Death Valley, and I'm like, well, crap. All right, well, what am I supposed to say here? You times us by 4 with people that have RVs outside and Cajun food that I've eaten about 700 pounds worth. If some guy hands you etouffee and the next guy hands you jambalaya and the next guy hands you 15 other things that are great and you don't stop eating. But the difference is, LSU has had so many great players. Patrick Peterson, to me, has been one of the best. And Jeff, watching him and today with the 6-game ban for PEDs, to me, does not end my mind on how good of a player he was.
No, of course not. I mean, Patrick Peterson is one of the best defensive backs that played in college football and probably played in the NFL. And he's from South Florida, and Jordan remembers the Gators were recruiting him very heavily, and ended up going to LSU. Ended up there with it's funny, he's now busted for PEDs, and of course he played with the Honey Badger.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
busted for just about everything. But they made a tremendous tandem in the secondary.
Well, the Honey Badger also took something. It was called performance enhancing dominoes after his 6th bowl. So I'm just saying. So they both are on the same track of PEDs, but a little different over there. The Honey Badger took what he wanted. He passed not one, as the count from Sesame Street. 1, 2, 3, 9. Ha ha ha. 9 failed drug tests, but he still played for a long time and got to play. So good for him. And end up making a career of it. Patrick Peterson is a very good player and deserves the credit as a very good player. But yeah, when you get in trouble or something happens like that, I think it's fair to relate it to speeding, meaning that Jeff, if we all leave here right now and we're driving 60 to 45, you get pulled over, you're going to pay the piper, and that's to me the same thing. He was doing something. He didn't get PEDs. That they're not. This is not some kind of movie where they're just, who knows with Roger. But at the same time, they're not trying to set this guy up, in my opinion. But he did something that probably, if you took a 52-man roster or whatever you want to do, he probably did something that 37 other players were doing. But you know what? He did it at the wrong time. He should have known better, and he got caught with it.
It's very tempting to use performance-enhancing drugs in today's environment. Gives you that edge.
Yes.
Allows some of those marginal players to make teams. So it's unfortunate, but it's a reality today in the NFL. And I agree with you. I'm not sure all of them are doing it, but I think that there's a pretty good percentage of them that are.
Very good. I took a performance enhancer drug from a guy named Stitches at 3 a.m. last night over downtown. And nobody is saying a word right now about that. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we still live right now? I'm just I was in bed by 9:30. Nice try, people. Looking right now at what's going on in
the Stitches here.
I was going to say Stitches would be the guy to go for if you need anything for all your help in getting strong. Stitches is your man. Patrick Peterson is just one of many. Kevin Durant right now not close to returning, according to sources. Now they milked him. They were able to beat a team in Houston before the series was over. But does Golden State at this point need Kevin Durant in order to win the NBA Finals?
Probably not.
Okay, I agree with you. Yeah,
but it certainly would help. I mean, it would kind of put them over the top. Milwaukee's their likely Finals participant, and Milwaukee is really good. They're really good defensively.
Yeah, they are. They're bucking awesome.
Yeah,
they are.
With Giannis can set everything up on offense. He's kind of that point forward that drives the lane and then kicks out. They can get any look they want, and so they're going to score a lot of points, and you're not going to be able to stop them. And so Golden State's going to have to outscore them if those two teams match up in the finals.
Well, and we're jumping to the conclusion about Milwaukee. Look, yesterday Toronto had the lead for most of that game. Brook Lopez went crazy. If you guys watched that game last night, Brook Lopez is shooting from 28 feet. The guy's 7'1" and hitting the shots. I think I'm not counting Toronto out of this. With Kawhi Leonard on the court, that is a very good team. So I'm not. I think Milwaukee versus Toronto is a toss-up, and Golden State pretty much is going to laugh their way to the NBA Finals. And Portland will get a few at home. The Blazers, they do well at home, but at the same time, it's not going to be. Look, Denver was not a great team. That was sometimes we talked about it from the beginning, and I still stick to this. Golden State versus Houston was the NBA Finals, and even though Houston didn't show up, Golden State Houston, whoever won that game and won that series, was going to be the champion. And to me, that's still going to stay true. Golden State ended up winning in 6, and now Golden State will coast to a championship. Whether they win a couple from Milwaukee, those guys are not prepared. Remember, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the game has changed so much. The games where the pick and rolls or the big dads inside that posted and changed the dynamics of basketball. Kareem to David Robinson to watching Hakeem Olajuwon, those days are over. It's about the guys that jack it up from 27 feet. And guess what? The guy that does it best, Steph Curry. I mean, he makes everything. And if he's going to be out there, that's what's going to win them the championship. And Kevin Durant was just... icing on the cake by being the best player in the NBA at that time. And what I'm saying is I'll still take LeBron, and I'm not an idiot. But at the same time, Kevin Durant was playing the best basketball in the NBA this season. And he was going off before he got hurt. But to just show you that even without him, Steph Curry comes in, who was having a, quote, down series, and comes in and makes 10 threes in game one. Just goes to show you how deep they are. And without Kevin Durant, they won two NBA Finals. With him, they won one. They've won 3 of the last 4 and been to all 4 NBA Finals. So this is nothing going to be changed. The days of the San Antonio Spurs and most of these teams are gone. To me, even without 2 guys in Boogie Cousins and in Kevin Durant that average 58 points a game, which is insane to think that that's not starting right now, they're still the best team by far.
Yeah, I mean, and Durant's a matchup nightmare. He's 6'11". You can't guard him inside. You can't guard him outside. You've got to devote your best defensive player even to neutralize him, and so it compromises your ability. Now, if he's not playing, then it changes the whole dynamic of the game, and you can take your best defensive player and neutralize somebody else. I think that if you neutralize the perimeter somehow of the Warriors, and they don't shoot well for a period of time, 6 or 7 games in a row, then they can be had. I don't know that. Now, I'd make them the prohibitive favorite, though, over either Milwaukee or Toronto. And you're right, Toronto has a shot at beating Milwaukee, but I think Milwaukee's just a little bit better.
Yeah, but can you beat old Milwaukee? That's the big.
Only PBR.
I'm just. That's right. Anything beats old Milwaukee right there, besides natural ice. And if you've had natural ice, or Mickey's. But when we come back, if you had Mickey's, you're probably not listening to the show. You're drunk,
which is pretty. Falstaff's pretty doggone good. I remember the first time I ever had a beer was when I was 12 years old. My uncle said, "You want to sip of this?" And it was Falstaff.
How dare you, sir, come into this show and say that you had a beer under the age of 21? That's all. We're going to take a break on this note. I'm going to cry. All right, we're coming back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
Welcome to Sherwin-Williams.
So I can get 30% off paint?
Yes.
And 30% off stains?
You bet.
Party time!
Yeah!
Oh, party time, the color. I'd like 3 gallons in party time, please.
You got it. Ask Sherwin-Williams May 17th through June 3rd and save 30% on paints and stains with sale prices starting at $26.94. Only at your local Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Now there's more fun for everyone at IP. The beautiful Bayview Cafe is here, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can dine anytime and meet up with friends for wine tasting at 850 Wine and Spirits. Plus, if you love sports, IP Sportsbook is where the action is, and now taking wagers. Better up.
IP Casino Resort and Spa is fun for everyone.
Springtime is almost here. It's the perfect time to tackle the next job on your list. And AutoZone has the free services to help you do it. With the AutoZone Rewards program, members get more, like a $20 reward every time you spend $20 or more 5 times. And right now, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic or Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil and an FTP Extended Life Oil Filter for $17.99 after a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail. Let us help you at more than 5,600 locations nationwide. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Remember those summer adventures as a kid? On 2 wheels. Cutting loose with your buddies, enjoying freedom of an endless summer night. Make new memories this summer at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Owning a Harley is easier and affordable than ever. Check out Harley-Davidson of Pensacola's Red Tag Sales Event. Drastic reductions on pre-owned inventory. Discover your inner child again with the freedom that owning a Harley brings. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Hey, Jan, did you look into my suggestion about switching to Sprint?
I owe too much to my wireless contract to think about switching right now.
Don't let that stop you. Sprint's offering up to $650 per line to cover your switching costs.
$650?
It's their way of giving you a clean slate. Plus, if you lease a new iPhone, you can get an incredible new iPad on them.
This weekend only at your local Sprint store. Switch to Sprint and we'll cover your switching fees up to $650 per line via prepaid MasterCard. And if you lease a new iPhone, we'll give you an incredible new iPad on us. Get to your local Sprint store this weekend and save. Less required phone trade-in credit provided after online registration and new phone activation. Amount based on early termination fee charged to remaining phone balance. Card terms, conditions, and exclusion apply. Member FDIC. iPad 6th generation, 32 gigabytes, $0 per month after 1917 monthly credit for 24 months credit. Apply within 2 bills. Requires new line on qualifying plan. If you cancel early, remaining balance due. Taxes due at sale.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5, Blab TV. I am Chad Berliante. Glad to be with you here. 5:56 coming up here at 6:35. We'll send it to Chris Garagiola and the Pensacola Blue Wahoos as they take on the Mobile Bay Bears, looking to clinch that Southern League title in the first half. And Jeff, I know you've been a season ticket holder, a Pensacolian. That's the right way, Pensacolan, right? No, Pensacolian over the years, and watching a team like the opportunity for the Blue Wahoos to go in there, win some games, pretty fun to see. And this has been a team that really has been able to go from a team with Minnesota that we didn't know what was going to happen because it was a brand new squad, completely brand new roster, to not only proving that they're fun to watch, but they might win it all. And I know it's early in the season, but this looks like a team that is going to win the first half and has a really good shot to win it all.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chad. And the reason I say that is not because of the existing roster, because a lot of those AA kids are high risers,
yes,
and they'll end up in in Major League Baseball before the end of the season, and that they won't be a benefit for the Wahoos at that point. But this farm system is so deep with talented players that Minnesota's been very crafty in the way they've drafted. That they're kind of chock full. They're one of the leading organizations relative to young talent, and so I think that whoever they lose can be replaced, and so they'll if they win the first half, they don't have to win the second half. They can they'll be in the playoffs, and once you get in the playoffs, you've got a really good chance to win. The best teams in any level of baseball win 60% of the time. The worst teams 40% of the time. So they're in the middle. I mean, they've got a shot at winning the title.
Baseball's just getting there. Baseball today is one of those kind of sports. In football, if you're the New York Jets and you play Tom Brady, unless you put something in the Gatorade in Tom Brady's locker room, he's not going to lose that game. When it comes down to baseball, you can be, let's take the worst team right now, which is a squad like the Kansas City Royals, or you take a squad that is losing every single game right now like the Miami Marlins, and you put them against the best squad in baseball, which currently from a wins-losses record might be a Houston, and you have a chance to win that game.
Absolutely.
It's baseball. Real quickly before we let you go, Jeff, Zion Williamson, should Anthony Davis stay?
I think Anthony Davis definitely should stay. That would be a tremendous lineup.
Yes.
They've got a core there, a nucleus of 3 great players.
That's right.
So that'd be fun because New Orleans is only 2 hours from here.
That's right.
And we can go watch them.
And that's also, he's helping me because I have a jersey right now on eBay for Anthony Davis for $1,200, and I know you're trying to help. We're coming.
Hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Berliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25. He's getting Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
Welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brillante. Glad to be with you here on this Thursday evening. Pat Dye's got an award ceremony. He usually joins us at 6 o'clock, but he's up there having some fun and enjoying another great award throughout his years. And when it comes down to being right there and having an opportunity in sports. When it comes down to baseball, a lot of games today. The Washington Nationals with a 7-6 win over the Mets. 11-3 victory for the Milwaukee Brewers over the Philadelphia Phillies. 17-3. That sounds like a football score. Oakland A's over the Tigers. 16-1. Well, I'll keep on this track right here. 16-1 for the Texas Rangers over Kansas City as well. And tonight at 8 o'clock will be the Portland Trailblazers and Golden State Warriors in Game 2 of the NBA Western Conference Finals. And coming up at 7, Boston versus Carolina. The Bruins looking to sweep to get to the NHL Stanley Cup. Joining us now to talk a little bit about everything when it comes to finances and having the opportunity to take your business to the next level or just your own personal bank account, whatever you need to get the right financial advice. John Steele joining us. John, we appreciate your time.
Well, I'm very glad to be here.
Well, it's nice, yeah.
You mentioned earlier about some people in sports that actually got very good financial planning, and yes. I brought up one earlier. O.J. Simpson.
Yes, he did. He got a good lawyer with that money, too.
He got a good lawyer, and he got a good financial advisor, and they got his money locked up where nobody could take. The courts couldn't even take it away from him.
Yeah.
And they've been trying and trying. He's been sued by both families.
Yeah.
And he's had no luck whatsoever. Whether he's guilty or not guilty is irrelevant. He got good financial advice.
Yes, he did. And there's a lot of those athletes out there. But one of the things we've always discussed, John, is whether you're an athlete or whether you go from having a little to a lot, it's sort of the same structure. If you make $30,000, if you make $60 or $6.5 million, you need to budget that towards that.
The structure is really no different. Yeah, I can relate that today. I doubt seriously any of these people are watching. Wonderful lady come in this morning, sat down for an appointment, dressed fit to kill, driving a new Cadillac. Beautiful woman, 85 years old, and she had been married to a senior military officer, and he had taken very good care of her and spoiled her rotten, and she had never learned anything about managing money, had never had a financial plan, had never had any advice. So she comes into me and she goes, well, I got a problem. I said, what's that? She goes, I got over $700,000 condominium. I got, $1,500 a month fees. And homeowners association fees, and she took the money that her husband left her and bought 2 annuities which run out in September, and so she's living on close to $10,000 a month now, and by September she'll have to be down to just under $4,000 a month, and she ain't got a dime. Ain't got a dime. I mean, if she wrote a check for $5,000, it'd bounce. And wonderful lady, sweetheart, just as good as gold. She was the perfect, I'm sure, military officer's wife, but she didn't know nothing about money. And now she's 85 years old, the longevity in her family, the women usually live beyond 100.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got a ways to go. And she got no money. None at all. So this afternoon, I get some guy comes in this afternoon, and he's having problems with the teeth like I'm having. Okay, his wife's a professional lady that works at a hospital, and they come in and they sit down, and they talk to me, and he says, well, I had serious health issues a couple of years ago. I can't work anymore. My wife's still working, and we need about $4,000 a month to live on, and we just don't know if we're going to make it. And they come in dressed casual, not driving a really new vehicle.
No Bluetooth in the ear.
And so they lay some papers down in front of me, and he says, you think we got enough? We got a little over $1 million. I go, yeah, you're okay. But I'll do a financial plan to help them structure this so they get the most out of it. But it's interesting to me that all the people I've met, the ones who are the most flashy, and the people that show that they got money, most of them don't have it.
John, what I do want to ask you, because when it comes to money, though, sometimes the one thing about stats in sports or money is it doesn't lie. You could sit here. Bryce Harper got paid $350 million, but he's batting .240. There's a guy that's batting right now .275 that doesn't have a contract yet, and if you just looked at the straight numbers, that guy's batting 35 points higher in his batting average. When it comes down to life and financials, though, one thing is you can look at the numbers, but one thing is quality of life is not justified by that. And what I want to ask you about it is how many people have come to you and said, you know what, I've got money, but how do I balance it with still being able to work and also be able to enjoy life? Because, even for myself, I'll tell you, I'm working, I have a lot of different titles and do a lot of things today. I'm making more money than I did. But a lot of times, and I'm not saying with my family, I love my family. I have an awesome life. I've got an awesome wife and a great 3-year-old at home, and I love working for the companies I do, the people around it. But I'm doing so much right now that sometimes I don't get to enjoy as much as having that free time when I was making a lot less.
Okay, number one, what's your financial plan?
Is to be able to balance where I can still...
No, that's not a plan. That's a dream.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to have a plan. Number two, what's your plateau? At what income level would you be content to cut back your hours a little bit and spend the quality time with your family? That's part of what I do in my business, is I try to help people choose that point. Because when you're young like you and you're a hard charger and you're trying to get ahead and you're trying to make a name for yourself in a business and you're trying to generate the revenue because you want to take care of your wife and family and you want to be successful, okay? But you have to define success for yourself. Okay, so that's a combination of quality of family life and a certain standard of living. And what you have to do is you have to make a pre-negotiated decision with your wife. At what point is that plateau number? At what point are we making enough to accomplish what we want, put money away for retirement, do the things we want to do, and have time with the family? Or is there, you got a 3-year-old daughter. Okay, is there going to be a time when it's more important for you to spend time with that daughter than maybe right now? If so, that's part of a financial plan. That's to be able to sit down and say, okay, when my daughter gets active in these sports, because you're a sports guy, okay, I want to be there when she plays soccer or whatever she does, you're going to want to be there to support her. So you've got a target to hit that plateau number somewhere to coincide with that, where it's going to start consuming your time in the evenings to support your daughter. So a lot of people don't have any plan at all. They're sort of like you, Chad. They have a wish and a dream and a vague vision. Okay, what you've got to do is lay that down and says, okay, sit down with your wife and say, okay, here's where we are now. Okay, and I'm going to pay a price for a period of time. I did it in my business. Okay, for many years, I worked 6 days a week, and I was working 8 or 9 hours a day in my own office, and I was teaching classes on retirement planning at 4 different universities 4 nights a week. And so I did that for 15 years, and I had to make a decision. Where's my plateau number? Well, where am I at? So now I can back off and I don't have to do all that stuff anymore. Okay, and then I was doing really wonderful with my plateau number, and I was doing really wonderful with my quality of life, and people like you come along, and WEBY, which I'm on the radio there, and then doing infomercials for Blab TV, and I go, you're sucking me back in again, and I'm wanting to do a little more fishing.
Yeah.
I at least got my sacred 30 days for elk hunting in the fall.
There you go.
I will not give that up, but you have to understand, in life, you have to set the priorities. And in this case, you're married. You're going to sit down with your wife and say, what's really important to us? At what point do we feel that economically we're on the track? And this is why you got to have a financial plan. You got to have one, because it's sort of like, if you don't have a roadmap and you don't have a GPS system and you don't have a Nuvi, okay, and you're going and says, sweetheart, we're going to be halfway there. When?
Yeah.
You got no way of measuring it. And so this is why people don't understand strategically to be successful in life and have a happy life. You've got to have a plan, and this is what I find in my business a lot, and it comes in with a lot of these athletes. Okay? They come in, I'm going to go make all this money. Okay? And that's great. You're going to make all this money. What's your life?
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing I run into all the time. I'll have some couple come in and the husband and the wife have both worked for 39 years at some places, and they've accumulated $1.5 million in their retirement accounts, and they got it over here. Okay, it's invested and it's growing and it's exciting. They're watching that number grow and they're living over here in poverty. I said, you have to take your money and have it support your life, not your life support the money.
Okay,
You'll
John,
never be happy.
I want to ask you this question because we hear things all the time in society today. I saw a commercial today, and this 3-year-old girl, which is my daughter, is really smart. I've had DNA tests to make sure she's mine. She's extremely smart, so I wanted to check that. But when it comes down to it, you had this girl that said, coding is the future to everything. And I'm looking at computers and I was like, that sounds like a cool word, but I don't know what the heck to do. And we all know words in society when it comes to things that you hear, but you don't. It's like we follow the brand. When you go shopping tonight, you go grocery shopping, you go to a Publix or Winn-Dixie or wherever you go. You walk into the place and you look at the label. And if it says for milk, May 26th, you feel like you got 10 days, no matter what. And that milk could be spoiled rotten that you're about to pick up. But you have trusted that little print right there to pretty much tell you what to do in society. And we all do it. When it comes to finances,
they won't let you take the lid off and taste it.
Exactly.
Okay?
I've tried that. I don't want to go to joking.
Okay.
But when it comes down to it, when it comes to finances, I think most of us, I'm looking at Jordan and most of the younger generation, we know what a checking account is. We know what a savings account is. We know what we do when you owe interest on a credit card. We know what it takes when you pay a premium. But at the same time, what we don't know is the words of, and I'm not saying I do know what these mean, but I don't have one of these existing. What 401k is compared to a mutual. What this, when you hear those words, that diversify your portfolio.
Mutual funds usually inside a 401k.
Yes. What I'm saying is, if I'm going to go with the sports theme for the people listening right now, what is your quarterback, what is your point guard of making the right decision when it comes to one of those investment strategies for the one that you need to facilitate your offense? What is the number one thing to do?
Number one is you need a good quality, independent, certified financial planner, because he's been trained in all the different areas.
Which you know a guy that does that for you.
Yeah, I know one really well. In fact, he shaves with me every morning. But in any event, that's the corner, and he is trained, and I'm certified to do this. We are trained to work with. If you need a CPA, then we usually know a good one that can do done what you want. If you need estate planning, we've already checked the lawyers that know how to do this and the ones that don't. Okay, so that's your go-to guy. That's your main person. But first, he's got to be a certified financial planner, because it's the only credentials in the industry that cover this broad spectrum. And you see the ads on TV all the time. I don't know if did you see that one about the guy that was, he was there talking to people, says, would you trust me as your financial advisor? And they go, sure, I would. And he says, I'm a DJ.
Or the ones where a guy screams out the windows, "I want my money, I need it now." You're like, wait a second, that's not how it works.
I know people in the business
that's called stealing from somebody.
Yeah, when the economy is really good, they're stockbrokers, and when the economy's bad, they sell cars. And they swap back and forth depending on what economic conditions are, because wherever they can make the most money. You've got to find a independent, and this is why it's really important. You have to have an independent certified financial planner. Anybody who's working for the big wirehouses, and I'm not going to name their names, everybody knows who they are, but if they work for the big wirehouses, they're all under a quota system. And they have to sell X amount of stuff that's identified that they must sell. And so all of a sudden you walk in this guy's door and you say, "I want to talk about setting up an investment account." And the guy's sitting there going, "I got to get you another $100,000 in this particular investment." And that's what you end up owning, and you have no idea why. And he don't either, except he has to fill a quota. Okay, so you have to be very careful about this. There are not that many what I call full financial advisors. I've told people this for many years. Pensacola News Journal came and interviewed me a number of years ago, and they said, "Mr. Steele, who's your competition out here?" And I go, "Well, I don't have any." They go, "Well, what do you mean by that? There's all kinds of other investment companies and stuff." I said, "You don't understand." I said, they sell people tons of stuff. And when people approach retirement, they realize the stuff they bought is not going to do what they need to do in retirement, so they bring it to me and I fix it. I said, they're not my competition. They create my market. And they couldn't get that. They went away and wrote some stupid article.
John, I want to ask you the question, though, when it comes down to looking at the plan, as you talked about, let's relate it to some of these athletes that are getting ready for the NFL draft. Only a very few amount of these people will ever have a shot to live the dream of, Josh Sitton. He got hurt last year. Josh sat next to me at UCF. He went to school with my wife right there at Pensacola Catholic, and a great guy to the community. He got paid a lot of money, and he's going to be okay. There's a lot of NFL players, though, that have the title of, I'm an NFL player, but they went on the practice squad, or they didn't make that money. If you looked at a plan and a guy, let's say, came to you and said, "John, I'm freaking out. I had a chance where I got an NFL chance, but I didn't have a backup plan. I left early from college. I don't have my degree, and now I'm on a practice squad, barely making enough." When I say it, barely enough, $75,000 a year, but
Understood.
I don't know if I'm going to have that for more than 3 years. What should I do right now to assure that I have 2 kids at home and a wife, that I don't maybe have a backup job? What would you tell a guy like that?
First of all, I sit down with him. I say, first, let's figure out a budget and let's figure out what it's going to take to feed you, your wife, your kids, take care of everybody. I said, and then the second thing is, what do you got left to do to finish that degree? I said, because, and I said, and that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to be looking at ways of financing that degree. We're going to look at ways of trying to find you money to pay for that degree. We might even prod the NFL
look at
a little
grants
bit.
And other things.
We'll look at everything. All right, so that's going to be that step. And then the other thing is I want you to focus on your NFL career, and then I want you to pick your second career. And you work on this one as hard as you can, and you put in some effort on this one. And you keep them going parallel until either you get into the NFL and make the big money, and then you don't have to worry about this one so much anymore. But take a look at the guys you see on TV that are old NFL celebrities, okay? The guys who have made millions in finances. I got a kick out of it because I was at a conference here not too long ago, and I was approached by a gentleman that owns an investment firm. His name's Fran Tarkington.
Yes.
You may have heard that name somewhere, and they were giving away Fran Tarkington bobblehead dolls. Okay,
that's sort of how he played.
Yeah, and I told them, they said, you want one of these? We're giving them away for free, And I go, no. I said, do you have one of them Aaron Rodgers dolls? I'll take one. I like the guy thrown out of the building, but in any event. Those guys had a parallel career going on. They started learning from when they first started making money. Okay, what can I do to turn this money over? What can I do to, make more money with the money I'm making? And those guys walked out at the end of their career, and some of them very successful. Okay, Fran Tarkington, one of them, and you see other ones on Good Morning with Maria Bartiromo, and there's a number of NFL players that sit on her little bench up there from time to time. Okay, and so they're sitting there, and these guys are now either investment gurus or successful businessmen or running a company or doing this kind of stuff. And what they did was, when they were in the NFL, they built this second career because they were smart enough to realize that if you're hurt bad, you're done.
Well, and the NFL was a lot different then. Look, Coach Kay Stevenson, who does the show with us here 12 to 1 each and every day, we joke with the contracts today that they're getting, but when he coached, when he played, a lot of these athletes, they had to find either second jobs when they played, or when they got out of it, they had to find the right financial help because that wasn't their life compared to today.
They didn't make a living.
Exactly. When we come back, I do want to talk more about this, and I want to ask you the question, too. We're going to have some fun with John talking, because when it does come to finances, a lot of times it can get a little bit crazy. One thing we can say, and you can have fun with songs that say money can't buy you happiness, but you're sort of lying to yourself. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
And last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is all sports all the time. Talk football year-round with local sports legend Coach K. From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to coaching the Buffalo Bills, Coach K's life has been all about the game, the teams, the players, and the coaches. Talk football with Coach K at noon on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Hey guys, this is Davis Allen.
And I'm Jordan Glass, and we're the hosts of Saturday Sports Call right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Join us this Saturday, Armed Forces Day, as we take our show on the road to Car City at Bob Tyler Toyota starting at 11.
And sure, we'll be talking sports, but we'll also be taking time for you to stop by and let us know who you would like to salute that served or is serving in the Armed Forces. Plus, don't forget to ask for your free American flag.
So join us this Saturday from 11 to 1 for Sports Call with Jordan and Davis at Bob Tyler Toyota.
At Denny's, you can get 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, 3 pieces of sausage, and 3 pieces of bacon, all for $5.99. Now, before you say, wow, that's a lot of meat, know that this dish has its fan base right there in the name. This is for people who really love meat, the super meat lovers. So if you're a super meat lover who likes the idea of getting all the meat you love at a super low price, then the $5.99 Meat Lovers Slam is for you. See you at Denny's. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only, no substitutions.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
All right, speaking of making those financial decisions, welcome back to the Sports Drive right here, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Coming up here at 6:35, we'll send out to the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, but joining us now, John Steele of the Retirement Planners right there, giving you advice on how to make sure that you are financially okay. He's not going to say, not one of those commercials with the money suit. They're throwing money at you and saying, yeah, everybody's going to be rich. And just buy my 15 DVDs for $39.99 and a couple ladies sitting on bikinis in a car. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be rich. That's called infomercials to drunks. When it comes down to it, the truth of the matter is when you look at situations, it's being able to balance wherever you are, 30, 60, 90, $1 billion, whatever you have, and budgeting to make sure your life fits that mold. And John, kind enough to join us here each and every week to talk about it. John, there's a lot of people out there. That's one thing, whether it's sports or in life, everybody needs financial help. And, I think a lot of times people are looking, especially today more than ever. Back in the day, a lot of people had I'm going to get married early. I'm going to have 3 or 4 kids, maybe go to the war, come back and have a house, structure life, 9 to 5, wife works at home, and then we retire together and we sail off into the sunset. Today is completely different. People at the age of 21 are trying to find the next app and try to be that guy, and that's not always the path that is going to lead, and what it leads to is more stress by not following a path that is safer.
Well, here's the other thing you really got to look at. Every generation's different.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay, the way our grandparents looked at money is completely different from the way our parents looked at money.
Yeah.
And it's going to be completely different from the way you look at money. For example, I'm on the beginning edge of the baby boomers.
Yes.
Okay? Us baby boomers have run up about a $22 trillion debt you're going to get to pay.
Thank you.
Okay.
John, get the heck out of my office right now.
No, I'm dead serious. This is what's happened, okay? Now, prior to the 60s, our country had almost no debt. In fact, our history was that, when we had the Revolutionary War, it took us 12 years to pay that off. We had the Spanish-American War, it took us a few years to pay that off. We got into World War I. Of course, that was run under Woodrow Wilson, who was a Democrat, who basically, that was when we never paid off wars after that. But anyway, but we built up some debt in World War I, World War II, Korean War, et cetera, et cetera. But the debt was, compared to today, minuscule. It was really not enough to even be really concerned about. But what has happened is my generation, the baby boomers, and I'm going to sit here and take responsibility for it. The 60s, irresponsible people, the love fests and all the other stuff that went on, we spent like drunken sailors, and that's an insult to drunken sailors because they only spend the money in their pocket.
That's right.
We spent your money. Okay? Now, this is leading to something real quick because this is something you're going to have to watch. Every generation and how they deal with money is completely different. For example, our grandparents, one of the first things they wanted to do was hurry and pay off that mortgage and have a mortgage burning party. Okay? And then when our families came along, they couldn't decide whether they wanted to pay it off, not pay it off. And so you went through a period of time when they just kept refinancing it to the hilt. And then you had a 2008 crash. All these people are underwater, and millions of people lost their homes.
Yeah, but if you were with the bank, you just had they bail you out?
No. Didn't work that way. And the government didn't bail you out. Okay? But so
my best friend owned a company named Enron, and he just told me everything's his life's okay now.
Well, that's fine. As long as you didn't have all your money in Enron stock. I mean, the people who had a 401k at Enron and it was well diversified had a financial planner.
Listen, my grandfather, Bernie Madoff, said, don't believe everything you hear. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes,
hey, Bernie was a sharp guy, made a lot of money for a while. And he's got a whole new group of friends.
John, we got about a minute before the Wahoos. I want to say before we let you go, everybody out there listening, John Steele on ESPN Pensacola 94.5, Blab TV, tax-free retirement, national bestseller. That's a great book
If you want a copy of it, drop by my office. And you'll have to figure out where I'm at because I ain't going to tell you.
Oh, come on.
I'll give you a free
no.
on how to have a tax-free
brand new
retirement.
office. It's an awesome office. He's got a
8001 North 9th Avenue, Pensacola, Florida.
You got an awesome goat up front there.
Yeah, the cashmere.
That's awesome.
Got a cashmere goat. Original
Don't tell people how much you paid for that.
Studebaker wagon.
That's right.
In the lobby.
It's really cool. It's awesome right there. John, appreciate it as always. Thanks again.
No problem.
John Steele, retirement planner, is joining us here. We're about to send it to the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. If you're out there at the game tonight, you probably have kicked your feet on John's third base dugout right there. He is a proud supporter of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos and always giving back financial advice right there, which all of us, if you're listening and say, I don't need financial advice, well, thank you for being a robot. outside of that, for everybody else, we appreciate you joining us here today. For Jordan Glass, who is going to hear Luke Combs in the back of his head in Cat Country 98.7. Our good friend John Steele from the Retirement Planners. I'm Chad Berliante. Have a great rest of your night and enjoy some Pensacola Blue Wahoos baseball with Chris Garagiola.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to